Hi, I'm Ed Kashi. I'm a photojournalist. I've been making photographs for almost 30 years all over the world, and my work has appeared in the National Geographic magazine, the New York Times magazine, Time, Newsweek, international publications. I've been exhibited, and I've also published 6 books on subjects as varied as aging in America, to oil and conflict in the Niger Delta, to the Kurds in the Middle East. And why don't you stick around and join me in speaking with Marc Silber about my work and about photography.
Hey Ed, thanks for joining us on
All right.
Advancing
Good
Your
to meet you,
Photography.
Marc. All right.
Tell me about the type of work you do and what you really love.
Yeah. Well, I see myself as a long-form visual storyteller, and I have dedicated myself to trying to tell stories of social and political significance. And my style or approach is very much long-term, in-depth. And there's a phrase that I don't know if I've coined it, but that I certainly refer to for my work, which is candid intimacy.
How do you get that?
Well, it's that idea, like when someone looks at my work and they say, how did you get so close to the people, but it's like they don't know you're there?
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, okay, that's it. I've achieved that candid intimacy. And the truth is it can happen in a 20-second interaction with someone I've never met before, but the image can have that feeling like, oh, he found his soul, the person's soul.
Right.
Or it can come out of, a month of going back and forth to a subject. And that's the sort of mercurial nature of photography, of still photography.
I was in Morocco, and really, I literally had people shaking sticks at me and whatnot. They did not want me to capture their image. How do you work around that?
Well, it's interesting. I've come to feel that this gesture is almost as provocative as this gesture.
Yeah, exactly.
In the world today. And so I have to say that more and more of my work is being shot from the hip.
Right.
There's a lot of sort of shooting where I'm not looking at, or I'm shooting like this, or I'm looking away, and it's a drag in a way but what it has done, it is sort of led me to another term that I've talked about actually for 30 years, which is this idea of the abandoned moment. Mm-hmm. That it's almost the antithesis of Bresson's decisive moment,
right.
Which isn't to diss his concept, because it's a standard, it's a canon, and it's fabulous.
Yeah.
Fabulous. And it's something to strive for that is very unique to still photography. But I've come to realize that there's this whole other almost opposite aspect to photography where you are absolutely not in control. You might not even be looking through the viewfinder. And sometimes the magic that comes out of that is extraordinary.
Can you tell us about a specific image, the abandoned image?
In January, I was in Madagascar, and I was photographing this sort of ritual where farmers bring the cattle out to their rice fields, and they dress up with branches on them and mud all over them, and they're sort of yelling and whooping it up and getting the cows to basically stomp their field.
Yeah.
And it's wet, so it's just completely muddy. I was completely muddy. I'm looking at this scene and I'm going, okay, right, got to roll up. This is a case as a photographer where I'm going to have to get dirty. So short of wearing like a hazmat suit, and putting plastic on my camera, I've got to take my shoes off, roll my pants up, almost take my pants off really, and essentially just expect I'm going to be completely splattered. And if I want to get this close to people, because this is where I like to work, in that sort of, 10 feet or closer range. And so what I also realized was everything's moving so quickly, and you could apply this to many situations that photographers, especially photojournalists, find themselves in, where you're in a situation where your position can't be fixed and your subject's position is constantly moving.
Yeah.
And, angles and distance are varying and all these things. And so at some point I said, I'm going to abandon trying to control this or predetermine, and I'm just going to shoot from the hip. And, so in some cases I had no idea. I had some relative idea of what I was getting, but ultimately I was not certain of what I was getting. And a few images came out of that scene, but one in particular that I thought just was really beautiful. And there's this great energy that you get as well. But what I'm doing is abandoning control.
Ed, what are some of the key things that you use every time you pick up a camera, even before you pick one up?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. At this point in my career, my MO with equipment is so simple. It's not embarrassing, but it's so simple. I use one camera and one lens, a 24-105 zoom.
That's it.
90% of the time. And then I've got another camera with a 16-35 mil lens.
Yeah.
That's essentially what I go out in the field with now.
Okay.
And a flash, an on-camera flash with a cord to take it off camera. Yeah. But at this point, I use a flash really as a problem-solving tool. Earlier in my career, because for the first 7 to 10 years of my career, I was bringing in Dynalights and Lumidynes and shooting Polaroids and working in that mode, doing editorial photography, which translates not into photojournalism, but basically lit color portraiture, environmental portraiture. And anyway, so at the beginning of my sort of reportage career, I was still using the flash because that's what I was used to, that aesthetic, that feel, the way a strobe light etches the subject on the film or in the pixels now. Yeah. And there's something quite beautiful and magical and vibrant about that look. But now I work with natural light like 99% of the time. And I'll only use a flash if there's just absolutely no light, or if or at night, or if I feel I need that look or to clean a situation up. So really I call myself the photo ninja. It's a one camera, maybe two, and then a fanny pack with, one pouch for my sort of, phones and Filofax and caption book and that paraphernalia, and then a wallet for my flash cards. And I generally bring, 40, 50 gigs every day out with me of flash cards, and then a pouch with my flash unit, which has extra batteries. So that means that's it. I can dance, I can climb, I can run. I don't have too much dangling off of my body, because I'm very physical in the way I work. If I'm on, if I'm feeling good, I'm very physical. I'm always going up and down and moving and trying different things. And I always find that if I have even a second camera, let alone a camera bag on me, you just can't quite dance in the same way.
Any final tips for viewers who just want to be better photographers?
If you have that desire and that passion and that excitement about photography, then you need to just keep your eyes open. Maintain an open heart. Maintain an open mind. Look at the world and don't settle for what you see on the surface. And that is where photography comes in, or the camera comes in. It's a passport into worlds that otherwise you will never experience and you'll never be privy to. So if I meet you and I don't have a camera, I might not know what to say or what to do. But if I have a camera, then I feel empowered to say, so tell me, what do you do? Where do you live? And then start to, peel away the layers of who you are.
Ed, thanks for joining us on
Thank
Advancing
you.
Your Photography.
All right.
Really great.
Take care.
Thanks for joining us again for an inside look at Ed Kashi's remarkable photography. My goal is to provide you with content that helps you greatly advance your photography, and it means a lot to me to have you watch our videos and be a part of our growing community. Please subscribe and ring that notification bell so you know when we publish new videos. Be sure to like, share with your friends, and leave your comments below, and I'll get right back with you. And until next time, remember to get out and capture your own images of life.